You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, this is Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? Okay, it's just the day for quackers in the news. Oh yeah. Quackers has been all over the news. Now, I'm sure you've heard about Otto Warmbier, who's been released from North Korea and is en route on his way home. But there's another soldier, another story that very briefly made the news. And I've been scouring everywhere to see if I could find any more on it. And I couldn't. So, but I have been all over the place on it. But boy, do I have news, and North Korea seems to be all over it today. I mean, really. North Korea just seems to be the it. Yes, North Korea seems to be all over it. In addition to the story you heard about Otto Warmbier, another story which got two other stories in fact, got very, very little airtime, if they got any at all. There was a North Korean soldier that defected. Yes, there was a North Korean soldier that defected. I don't have any details about the defector. But it's definitely news. Let me tell you what I do have. A North Korean soldier defected to South Korea on Tuesday after crossing the border bisecting the two Koreas. Now, that meant he crossed the military demarcation line, or the DMZ, demilitarized zone. Same song, two names, same exact thing. The South Korean soldiers came across the North Korean soldier and guided him to the general outpost after checking his intention to defect and securing him in custody. He is currently being questioned to find out why he wanted to defect to the South and how he made it over. Now, there was no exchange of fire between the Koreas. There were no bullets flying, no missiles launching. But this guy made it. Now, just as a reminder, the two, North and South Korea, are still technically at war. Yes, there are no bullets flying, but the Korean War ended in a ceasefire. There is no peace treaty. And I've been to the DMZ. You're warned not to make gestures. You're warned you can't wear jeans. You're warned not to make gestures or any insulting, in other words, don't do stupid stuff at the DMZ. You could start the shooting again. Yes, it is really that tense. And I am not kidding. Now, they use both primitive and advanced means to determine whether the border's been breached. So, we don't have any information on this defector. We don't know. My suspicion would be male, because I've never seen a photo or an actual South Korean female DMZ border guard. So my suspicion would be male. My next suspicion would be younger. And then my condolences to his family for what will happen next. They will be rounded up and sent to a labor camp. And or executed. So that's the story you didn't hear. And yes, I've got my show prep. We'll get to it in just a second. I had to start with the story you hadn't heard. Here's what you've been waiting for. So, Quackers lost one today. Hey, Quackers. In a way, he lost two. Yes. Otto Warmbier, who's reportedly in a coma, is en route on his way home from North Korea. And I've got, excuse me, Mr. Frog wants to be part of the show tonight. I've got Secretary Tillerson's comments at his hearing. Let's take a listen.
Well, some of you may have seen a press release that was put out just before I arrived, announcing that at the President's direction, the Department of State has secured the release of Otto Warmbier from North Korea. He is on his way en route home to be reunited with his family. We continue our discussions with the North Korean regime regarding the release of the 3 other American citizens that have been detained. We have no comment on Mr. Warmbier's condition out of respect to him and the family.
So, they're not talking. When they're not talking, it's generally not good news. Okay, let's just start there. When it's good news, they shout it from the rooftops. His family did say that right now they're treating it as if he'd been in an accident. And the University of Cincinnati Hospital has said he will be treated there. Upon his return. But I'd love to say that's it on North Korea. Not even close, kids. Not even close. Oh, yeah. And then, how do cows figure into my story, into my show tonight? Well, you'll just have to hang around and listen to find that one out. But there's cows, too. I got cows, I got budgets. Boy, I have a little bit of everything. Yes, cow is in... Yes, I have a story involving cows. An international news story about cows. Boy, the world has gone crazy. It sounds a little bit like this, kind of. Train wreck, multiple locations. Now, I am grateful that Otto Warmbier has been released. Oh, what was that, Host Kitty? Host Kitty's glad Otto Warmbier has been released. However, there are still 3 Americans being detained. Yes, 3. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Wish I was. Now, I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm working behind the scenes on a top secret KLRN radio project. In fact, a couple of them. And I'm going to warn you now, I may have to miss a show or two to work on these projects. I'm going to do my absolute darndest. But I can make no promises. It's absolutely nutty right now. The amount of hours people are putting in behind the scenes. You got station manager Ann, you got our own Ricky Robinson, and Dr. Judy L. Moore, who I don't know how Doc is doing it. No, seriously. Doc just released her first book. She's working on she's working with a couple of us on the top secret KLRN radio projects. Oh, the book? Yeah, you can even pre-order it. It's amazing. I got a sneak peek. It's called Hidden Traps. Go. Buy. Amazon.com. Buy it. In fact, I'll get the link up on the KLRN radio website where you can buy it, pre-order it. Now, it doesn't actually come out till August 1st. Now, just as a reminder, you can tag me in a tweet. Yes, I keep my Twitter notifications open. You can hop on over to the KLRNradio.com chat room. It's KLRNradio.com/chat. Or you can just listen in. Although I've got to thank my listeners. I love getting feedback and comments from you, and I do respond to each and every one. No, I don't have anybody else that does it. Trust me. I do it all myself, kids. I do it all myself. So it's definitely been quite a day of it. We've got Madison Dunford up on the Hill. Believe it or not, and I was surprised how late the hearing went last night about the defense budget. Now, you'd think a defense budget hearing would be pretty dry. You think? No. No, it wasn't. In fact, I'm still working my way through the hours of audio. Yes, we are talking hours of audio. And no, that's no exaggeration. And then we've got Qatar, or Qatar, take your pick. Then you've got cyber warfare. And what about the cows? Oh, you'll hear about coming up soon. I promise we'll get to the cows. But you're going to have to stay tuned, because I'm not giving away the cows yet. Because I absolutely thought it was genius, cracked up, and had to include it. So, here's another story that didn't make mainstream media. Hey, thank you, Lori Sanderlin. Thank you very much for hitting me up on Twitter. Yes. So, back to what I was doing. Remember, I do keep my Twitter notifications page up, so if you want to get my attention during the show, you've got a couple ways to do it. You can hang out with me in the KLRN Radio chat room. You can tag me in a tweet. If you're listening on Memorex or via podcast from either iTunes, Google Play, Blueberry, Podcast.com, Pocket Cast. I don't even remember all the places my show is podcasted. But if you're listening on via Memorex, shoot me an email, jessiespov@klrnradio.com. All right, back to what you came for. Oh yeah, I'm looking for it. I didn't get a chance to sort my show prep before jumping on air. What can I say? There's another North Korean story. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's more. Here we go. Just found it. Found the last page of it, but we'll get the first page too. Alright. North Korean drone took photos of the THAAD site before it crashed. Yes, the drone crashed. Oh yes, you can even find pictures of Mr. Drone online. A drone identified as North Korean by South Korea's military may have flown more than 160 miles south of the border to capture images of the U.S. THAAD battery in Sonju. The South Korean military said the drone crash-landed in a remote mountain region last Thursday and had taken more than 10 photographs of the THAAD site, which is a former golf course. The military examined the drone, including a 64-gigabyte Sony memory card inside a built-in Nikon D800 DSLR camera. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The pictures appeared to have been taken after April 26, when the THAAD battery, including 2 launchers, was deployed at the site. The images may have been captured at an altitude between 1 and 2 miles. The drone is similar to unmanned aerial vehicles that have crashed on a remote South Korean island in 2014. But this one was different. Similar, but not identical. This one had a twin engine. Now, if we're finding North Korean drones in South Korea, what's Quackers up to? Oh yeah, Quackers, what are you doing? Oh yeah. South Korean airspace has been punctured by North Korea. While the Defense Ministry and the Presidential Blue House were occupied with omissions in a report and a battle for truth, North Korea has been looking at the Sonju THAAD site like the palm of one's hand. How many other drones have they launched? Meanwhile, 4 THAAD launchers remain dormant in a warehouse. The delayed deployment of the 4 THAAD launchers raised concerns in Washington. And yes, there are supposed to be 4 more launchers. A THAAD deployment, a full one, involves 6 launchers. And I do have an audio clip on this.
Another Fox News alert tonight. Major breaking news out of South Korea. The new administration in Seoul is pulling the plug on the latest high-tech American missile defense system. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is at the Pentagon to tell us why. Jen?
Brett, in an apparent concession to China, an official for the South Korean government announced today that it would suspend the deployment of a crucial U.S. missile defense system designed to intercept long-range North Korean missiles. The official said the 2 launchers of the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, or THAAD, that have already been installed can remain, but the 4 other launchers the Pentagon needs for the system to be more effective would be put on hold. The Pentagon has not been officially informed of the decision, but issued the following terse response. Quote, the U.S. trusts the ROK official stance that the THAAD deployment was an alliance decision and it will not be reversed. The top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee said the decision shows a potential rift with Seoul.
Oh, yeah. So they've told us, okay, we have a treaty obligation to protect South Korea. I'm not denying that. But now South Korea is saying, oh, you can protect us. You're obligated to protect us, but you can't install the equipment you need to properly protect us from quackers, from North Korea, from Kim Jong-un. And by the way, that audio, as it said, was from Fox News. All right. So, what else could be going on? Oh boy, we're not even close to done. We are not even close to done. I wish I could say we were. But we are not close to done. So there is much more. And yes, we are coming up on the bottom of the hour. So I'm going to break away with a non-Asia Pacific story. Commander of the Haqqani terrorist network has been reportedly targeted in a U.S. airstrike in the tribal regions of Pakistan. The airstrike was carried out Monday in the vicinity of the Hangu district. That's in the northwestern part of Pakistan. Oh yeah. And the commander, identified as Abu Bakr, died in an overnight strike. Now, we're not talking Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. We're talking Abu Bakr from the Haqqanis. They are different people. 3 more people were injured in this strike. Abu Bakr was from Afghanistan's Coast province. His original name was Omar. Haqqani Network was, of course, founded in the late 1970s, and the group is allied with Al-Qaeda. Now, the Haqqanis are the people that held Bergdahl, not the Taliban, not Al-Qaeda. It was the Haqqani Network. And this was just nuts how that all went down. But so now the airstrike, if the U.S. officials confirm it, took place 3 days. Approximately 3 days after Afghanistan officials blamed the Haqqani network for a series of deadly attacks in Kabul, which left more than 150 people dead and 400 wounded. Hey guys, hey flyboys, zoomies, you did this and took out Abu Bakr. Job well done. All right, we have got to take a commercial break. So, as a reminder, you can always follow me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can shoot me an email at the station, jessespov@klrnradio.com, and I will see you on the other side.
They also serve those who stand and wait.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@KLRNradio.com.
They also serve those who stand and wait.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me over that commercial break. Yes, we are back. We are live on KLRNRadio.com. All right. That budget hearing last night was a normal budget hearing, but it wasn't. There were multiple little things that came up, and I've got a couple of audio clips, and then I will get back to the North Korean dominance of the news. And yes, I have not forgotten my promise to tell you about the cows. All right, this audio clip isn't fully prepped, so you're going to have to bear with me. And it is a little longer than what I would normally play, but it is well worth the listen.
Chairman, I'm here to defend the budget as it stands because I can defend every priority there. If the Congress were to allocate additional funds to national defense, I believe the unfunded priority list gives good priorities.
So you're satisfied with what is basically a 3% increase in budgetary.
All right. The audio cut out there. I will get you what I have of the other part.
Chairman, I'm here to defend the budget as it stands because I can defend every priority there. If the Congress were to allocate additional funds to...
Sorry, this also has part of the first part. I had not had a chance to fully preview this clip, and I do apologize.
National defense, I believe the unfunded priority list gives good priorities.
So you're satisfied with what is basically a 3% increase in budgetary requirements?
Chairman, when it comes to defense, sir, we at this point, I think that the President's budget is allocated appropriately to the priorities. The priorities listed by the service chiefs as we go more deeply into the readiness challenge are certainly well tuned to what we need. I'd be happy to see more money if the Congress was to allocate additional funds and along the lines of the unfunded priority list.
Well, I appreciate your willingness to cooperate, but a lot of times we depend on your recommendations in shaping our authorization and appropriation.
Yes, sir. I can't think of any.
All right, so Mattis was chatting about the budget last night with McCain. I've got something from Dunford, General Dunford. Let's take a listen.
However, the competitive advantage that the United States military has long enjoyed is eroding. And a number of factors have contributed to that erosion. Chairman McCain, you mentioned several of these in your opening comments. Since 9/11, an extraordinarily high level of operational tempo has accelerated the wear and tear of our weapons and equipment. Meanwhile, budget instability and the Budget Control Act have forced the department to operate with far fewer resources than required for the strategy of record. As a consequence, we prioritize near-term readiness at the expense of replacing aged equipment and capability development. We also maintain a force that consumes readiness as fast as we build it. We lack sufficient capacity to meet our current operational requirements while rebuilding and maintaining full-spectrum readiness.
All right, so our military, thanks to Congress, and yes, Congress, may not be as well-funded as we'd like, which may mean they may not be as ready as we might need them to be. Now, you know, I love my military. I love my servicemen and women. I'm even a Mad Dog Mattis fan. Now, what I'm going to say, Mattis, if you need more money, speak up. Don't hem and haw. You need more money to make things work? Ask for it. You can't get it if you don't ask. All right, I think that's enough on the budget. But the budget hearing last night was quite... I've got one more audio clip.
There is no room for complacency, and we have no God-given right to victory on the battlefield. Each generation of Americans, from the halls of Congress to the battlefields, earns victory through commitment and sacrifice.
And that is one that I don't think any mainstream media outlet decided to play because they viewed it as probably staging, posturing, etc. But I thought it worthwhile to give it just that moment. Remember, we aren't guaranteed victory on the battlefield. So we have to work and fight for it just like everyone else. Now, there's something that I haven't seen in the media. And I've got to say this. I have not seen the mainstream cover this at all. Not one bit. All right. Tibetans are doing something horrific. He set himself on fire in protest of the Chinese policy on the Tibetan Plateau since 2009. He had previously been detained for 10 days for posting a photo of the Dalai Lama on the heavily monitored messaging service WeChat. After the fiery act of protest, he was taken away again for the last time by police, who refused to return his body to the family. Now, if I could say this was the only Tibetan who was fighting back this way, it would be a relief. He was the 150th Tibetan to set himself on fire in protest against Chinese policy. Yes, the 150th. Since the 1989 and the Tiananmen Square protest, China has explicitly prioritized stability above all else. The goal of the policy is authoritarian feedback cycle combining political and cultural controls from the top with rapid economic growth from below. The stability drive targets any potential source of cultural, political, legal, or spiritual opposition. Oh yes. Hundreds of Tibetan have taken the exact same step. And not just men. Women have done it too. Occasionally, there are survivors. However, they are detained, not released. So, what is going on? This has been going on for 8 years. And it's wrong. And I have not heard the mainstream media mention this at all. All right? This is horrific. And the fact that the Chinese perception of the Tibetans are simple and primitive is wrong. So, there's also an assumption that self-immolators have somehow been tricked by external cult forces manipulating their quote-unquote primitive and irrational minds. I'm sorry. Guys, these people can think for themselves. I highly doubt you get up on a Monday morning to go about your day and suddenly decide to light yourself on fire. Now, this is a traditional form of protest against China, and it goes all the way back to the 1950s. And then again, it rose its head again in the 1980s, and then again in 2008 and 2009. Yes. So, the Tibetans are claiming obsessive scrutinization, tracking of everything, and they said the surveillance by the Chinese has created an environment in which collective acts of resistance are virtually impossible. Even lone individual protesters shouting slogans in support of Tibetan independence or the return of the Dalai Lama disappear, never to be heard from again before their message can be heard. So you wonder why I worry about China's growth. So, because they are an authoritarian, totalitarian regime in more than one way. And that's a story you won't hear on mainstream media. You just won't hear it. So, and don't forget, China has done its own real-world version of Minecraft. Yes, they created islands where there were none in the South China Sea just to take over more territory. So, now the U.S. military is working on new strategies to combat this, but I promised you guys cows. Yes, cows. Yes, I actually mean cows. And then I've even got a quacker story to round out the day. And a few other little tidbits. Alright, just thumbing through the thing. I have a little bit more on Warmber if I have time for it at the end. Was it basketball diplomacy? I'm going to say no. Oh, let's get to it. Let's just get to it. Let's finish Warmber. That way I can take quackers off my playlist. The release came after Joseph Yun, the State Department's special envoy on North Korea, traveled to Pyongyang Notice his trip received no media coverage and was very quiet. Now, he traveled to North Korea and demanded Otto Warmberg's freedom on humanitarian grounds, capping a flurry of secret and diplomatic contacts. Warmberg's parents, Fred and Cindy, confirmed their son was on a medevac flight, which is due to arrive this evening. Sadly, he's in a coma. We've been told he's been in that condition since March of 2016. We learned of this only 1 week ago. We wanted the world to know how we and our son have been brutalized and terrorized by the pariah regime in North Korea. Warmberg was detained in 2016 and sentenced to 15 years of hard labor for trying to steal an item with a propaganda slogan. The family said it was told by North Korean officials through contacts with American envoys that Warmberg fell ill from botulism sometime after his March 2016 trial and lapsed into a coma after taking a sleeping pill. State Department spokesman Heather Norah asked whether Warmberg's release could open the way for dialogue amid high tensions, said it's just too soon to say. Now, of course, U.S. basketball star Dennis Rodman arrived in North Korea, returning to the increasingly isolated nuclear-armed country where he previously met Kim Jong-un. Yes, he met quackers. The State Department, of course, is continuing to seek the release of the other 3 Americans detained in the Hermit Kingdom. All right, all this started when North Korean officials in Oslo, where it was agreed that Swedish officials in Pyongyang would handle U.S. consulate's affair there, would be allowed to see all 4 detainees. The North Koreans later urgently requested another meeting in New York, and Young met North Korea's ambassador to the United Nations on June 6th. Yes, June 6th was the first time America was told that Otto Warmberg was in a coma. Tillerson consulted with Trump and arrangements were made for Young and a medical team to travel to Pyongyang. Young arrived on Monday, visited Warmberg with 2 doctors, and demanded his release. The North Koreans agreed, and he was flown out on Tuesday. Now, why did the North Koreans agree? How bad would it be if an American died in their custody? All right, cows. Yes, we're getting to the cows. I've just got to find it. As you know, the state of Qatar is under some kind of blockade. Now, blockades aren't a new thing, but Qatar is a country that imports 80% of its food. As Qatar faces isolation, a businessman suggests flying in 4,000 cows. When Saudi Arabia and a number of other major Arab states last week, they were cutting diplomatic relations with Qatar, the first reaction in the tiny Gulf state was simple: head to the supermarket, because almost all food products in Qatar are imported across the now closed border with Saudi Arabia. The country may be oil-rich, but most of its land mass is desert and unsuitable for agriculture. Many feared the worst, but one Qatari businessman has offered a partial solution: fly in cows, 4,000. It may take 60 flights to deliver all the cows. This is the time to work for Qatar. Kayet had already been planning to expand his company's agricultural business. The plan has been expedited so that mid-July he can cover a third of Qatar's demand for dairy products. Although the facilities for the cows were already built, the shipping costs for the animals will increase 5 times to $8 million. Qatar authorities have repeatedly dismissed concern about the country's food supply. We can live forever like this. Only 16 of Qatar's food imports came through the now closed land border with Saudi Arabia. Analysts have their doubts. Qatar receives 99% of its food from the outside. They are wholly dependent on outside supplies, particularly foodstuffs. Remember, Iran has been flying in vegetables. So this could impact the people. So yes, someone is talking about flying cows. 4,000 head of cattle into Qatar in an attempt to ease the situation for the average person on the ground. All right, I'm going through my show prep real quick. You know what? We're going to top off this one story since it's Defense Department. And then I believe I'm done for the day. Now, of course, be sure and tune back in tomorrow at 9 o'clock because, well, I got stories I didn't get to tonight. No, I don't think Dennis Rodman had anything to do with the Warmber thing except he was a diversion. He was the shiny object, look over there, while we get this guy out. That's why the timing of his trip was when it was. He was the shiny spectacle, so that no one would notice a medevac flight leaving North Korea with Otto Warmber, because they didn't want to announce it until he was out of North Korean airspace. That was the point. Plus, Kim Jong-un probably wanted something he could splash around in the media. President Donald Trump has given U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis the authority to set troop levels in Afghanistan, opening the door to future troop increases requested by the U.S. commander. The decision is similar to the one announced in April that applied to U.S. troop levels in Iraq and Syria, as Mattis warned Congress the U.S.-backed Afghan forces were not beating the Taliban, despite more than 15 years of war. Now, I think I have an audio clip, but I'm not sure I have it queued up. Let's see what I got. No, don't have it queued up. We'll have to get to it another time. But Mattis said in testimony to the Senate, "We are not winning in Afghanistan right now, and we will correct this as soon as possible." It's been 4 months since Army General John Nicholson, who leads U.S. and international forces in Afghanistan, said he needed a few thousand additional forces, some potentially drawn from U.S. allies. Some U.S. officials have questioned the benefit of sending more troops to Afghanistan because any politically palatable number would not be enough to turn the tide, much less create stability and security. Yes, we have lost 2,300 Americans and more than 17,000 wounded since 2001. All right. So, Mattis, who wore the uniform and seriously understands the way the men and women of the armed forces think, will be the one to make the decision. And for that, I'm grateful. And on that note, friends, I'm out of here!